Hello, my friends, and thank you so much for being here today. I was going to do a different topic today, but just in light of everything that's going on in the world, I really wanted to talk a little bit about feeling overwhelmed. And I know that most of us are probably feeling some level of overwhelm right now. And so I just wanted to talk a little bit about that and provide just some simple strategies that have helped me overcome overwhelm or at least reduce it. So hopefully this is really beneficial to you. And I'm really sending out a lot of love and light to you and to the world right now, because I think that's really what we need. And hopefully by reducing our own overwhelm, we're able to provide love and light to the world as well, and really have that ripple effect. So that's really my intention today for that. So, it's really hard to avoid feelings of helplessness, uncertainty, chaos, confusion, and just the sheer enormity of what's going on in the world today. Really in the last 2 years. It's almost surreal. Like, is this really happening in our lifetime? Is this really happening to us? And on top of that, we have our own other stressors to worry about and to deal with. We have relationship issues, we have work stressors, we have children to look after, we have maybe health issues as well. There's just all these things that are just piling up and piling up. And I know that that can lead to a feeling of real overwhelm. And I know when I feel overwhelmed, I feel like this inability to slow down. I feel this really nervous, anxious, panicky energy. And I know that a lot of people that I talk to feel the same way. It's kind of like nothing is ever really accomplished or complete. There's just things coming at us from all over the place. And it's really, like I said, this feeling of helplessness and not having the power to really change anything at all. And it's really this energy of not being able to fully breathe. And I'm just wondering if that sounds familiar to you. Again, when I feel this way, it really leads me to feeling anxious and not able to think clearly. I get irritable and I get snappy. And again, I just feel like everything is piling up and I don't really know where to start, which really leads me to feel a bit paralyzed. So I feel paralyzed by my thoughts and by my emotions, and I just don't know where to start. And my thoughts are going around and around in my head. Does that sound familiar? Is that something you can relate to? It's a really terrible feeling, isn't it? Because remember, what happens when we're in this state of panic or anxiety, our rational thinking brain shuts down and the irrational primal brain takes over. So I've talked about this before, and it's just really good to remember that, because our primal brain is trying to protect us, and it tells us to go into fight, flight, or freeze. And that's exactly what happens. I mean, think about it. When I feel overwhelmed, I feel irritable, which is the fight portion. I feel paralyzed, which is freeze. And flight would be that feeling of just wanting to run away from it all. And that can show up sometimes as mindlessly scrolling through Instagram or binge watching the latest Netflix show. And we can really see how those behaviors and those reactions aren't really serving us at all. So again, it's just really good to understand that. And I just always ask myself, like, how would I rather feel? You know that I teach that we need to decide who we want to be each day. Remember, we get to decide how we want to be. We get to decide that we will live into our values and be the person who is showing up as their best self every day. We get to decide to have control over our thoughts and feelings. And guys, I'm not saying to ignore your feelings. I'm just saying to feel the feelings. I'm saying feel the feelings, think the thoughts, but then decide what you actually want to think. Decide how you actually want to be, and decide how you want to show up. I mean, feel the feelings, think the thoughts, and then decide. This is not easy. This is a practice. That's why they call it a practice. And it's something that we need to commit to every day. It's an everyday commitment to do this. And I feel like, especially now with everything going on in the world, that we really need to commit to this practice. So, how would you rather feel? I mean, I was thinking about what's the opposite of overwhelmed? Is it calm? Is it in control? Is it empowered? Is it peaceful? Determined? strong, inspired, motivated? Is it capable? Is it hopeful? Or maybe it's a combination of some of those things together. So I just wanted to share some practical tips on how to reduce this feeling of overwhelm that really work for me. Because I kind of feel if we don't at least try to minimize this feeling of overwhelm, then we're going to get stuck in this cycle of negativity and hopelessness. And that really won't serve us at all if we're just spinning around. And that won't really serve the world at all either. And, right now, like I said, we need to bring our best selves forward. We need to really be radiating out love and kindness into the world, because that's really the only thing that's really going to make things a little bit better right now. And I know it's really hard, but I know that it's really necessary. If we all just shine our light a little bit brighter, then, and if we all committed to a little bit more kindness every day and a little bit more love, then, like I said, I think that ripple effect could have, a really big benefit to those around us. And I just wanted to remind you that you're not alone in this. I think everyone's feeling some level of distress right now and some level of overwhelm. And I think that it's also very up and down. Some days we feel like we can't give anything and we just need to receive and we need to go inwards. And other days we feel a little bit more strong and energized and we are able to give. So just be really mindful of that, but just know that you're not alone and there's always someone to reach out to. There's people that love you and support you. So reach out to them or reach out to me. I'm always here to talk to or listen or just offer, a warm shoulder to lean on. I just want everyone to know that they're not alone in this. So kind of back to the practical tips then. So what works for me? I mean, start by breathing. And this is kind of the most simple thing and it sounds super easy. And really breathing helps in almost any situation, just remembering to breathe. Because again, when we get panicked or anxious, our breathing just goes shallow and that really doesn't get oxygen into the brain. And that's when the brain just kind of shuts down and goes into our primal fight, flight, or freeze thing. So we just want to remember to breathe. So breathing calms our central nervous system. It centers us. It brings us back into the present. It slows down our heart rate. So being really intentional with breathing allows us, like I said, to bring oxygen into our body and just to really slow down. So taking a few deep, intentional, long, slow breaths allows our bodies and minds and our hearts to calm down. And this doesn't need to take long. Something that really works for me is just putting my hands over my heart, closing my eyes, and taking 3 deep breaths. So why don't we just do this right now? Like just put your hands over your heart, close your eyes, and just breathe. Does that already make you feel better? And it's a really simple practice. You can do this anywhere. You can do this at your desk. You can do this, in bed before you get out. You can really do it at any time of day. So, be really mindful about that. And anytime you start feeling anxious or overwhelmed, just do that. And maybe start making it a bit of a practice. Like I said, maybe do it before you get out of bed. Maybe every time you go refresh your coffee or every time you go to the bathroom, you can do it. I know that sounds a little bit weird, but that is a really good way to start a habit, is to kind of connect it to something else that you already do. You can also set your alarm on your phone or put it into your calendar a couple of times a day, just to remember, just say breathe. And it can just remind you just to take 3, long, slow breaths with your hands over your heart. You don't even have to put your hands over your heart, just breathe, and then no one will even know that you're doing it, but just be really intentional about it. Now, if you have time, do longer breathing exercises, do longer meditations. There's tons of free resources on the internet. So if you have time, that's obviously way more beneficial as well, if you want to get into that practice. I've also found journaling very, very useful. Now, I've never really been a journaling person, but definitely over the last year and for sure over the last few months, I have found this practice to be really beneficial and very therapeutic. And, what I do every morning is I just get up. I put my hand over my heart and I ask myself, what am I feeling right now? That's it. What am I feeling right now? I really listen to myself, listen to my heart, listen to my gut. And then I just write down 2 to 3 things that I'm feeling. Sometimes that's all I do, but most of the time I just start free writing what that means to me. what am I feeling? And I just like let everything out of my head and onto the paper. And it's messy. There's no sentence structure. Half the time I can't even read what I wrote because of my chicken scratch. But it's just so interesting to see what's coming out of my head and onto paper. It's always so different. And it's been really good just to get it out. There's just something really powerful about getting what we're thinking about in our minds out onto paper and then just let it go, just release it. So I really encourage you to try that. And if you're having trouble with that, you might need a starting point for what to journal on. And I do journaling prompts every Friday on my social media. So take a look at that. That might just be a really interesting starting point for you. Just look at the question and then just answer the question. Again, it can just take a couple of minutes, doesn't have to be long, but just see what happens. Just really experiment and see what happens when you start journaling. The other thing is being in silence and being still every day for just a few minutes. Again, we've got so much stuff coming at us all the time. We're always busy. I'm a doer. I'm very goal-oriented. I'm always thinking that I need to be busy, but just really sitting in silence and in stillness every day, just for, again, a few minutes has been really helpful to calm my nervous system and just to collect my thoughts and tune into myself. Often, I know for me, I use listening to a podcast or watching TV as a bit of a distraction from listening to my own thoughts and feeling my own feelings. And I think that that's not good. We need to not be distracted by that. We need to really understand what's going on inside us. So, it could just be as easy as staring out the window, drinking your cup of coffee, maybe do legs up the wall for 5 minutes with, again, nothing, no headphones on or anything like that, just in silence. Or maybe just even lie in bed for a few minutes before you get up in the morning and just, say a prayer of gratitude or just, again, do some breathing exercises. Don't underestimate the power of being with your own thoughts and allowing yourself the time to process them before you move them through your body. And, if you feel emotion, which you will, because there's just so much going on and there's so much bubbling up inside of us, let the emotion come to you. Let it sit in your body, observe it, listen to it. Don't try to push it away. Don't try to ignore it. It really needs to be let out. So, cry if you need to. I've had, quite a few crying sessions in the last couple of days and in the last couple of years as well. Scream into a pillow, but just feel the feeling, okay? Like it's really necessary to let it out. We really need to allow that feeling in order for it to move through our body, and then it's going to get released. And speaking of movement, move your body every day. This is key. We need to, obviously, exercise and movement is important on so many levels, but it can also help move the negative energy out of our systems instead of kind of getting stuck, right? It's kind of like that expression, shaking it off. I believe that comes from the notion of moving energy through us. So again, it's not about ignoring the feelings. We do need to feel them. We do need to let them go through our body, but then we need to move them out. And, movement helps with this. So if you exercise or work out, that's awesome. But going for a brisk walk is amazing as well, especially if you're outside. And my new favorite thing that I've started doing is dancing. So in the morning, I've picked a really great song that really means something to me and it's really high energy. I put my headphones in and it's a long song. It's like 5 minutes. So if you don't want to pick a song that long, but then I just dance and it feels a little bit silly, but you know what? It feels really good to move your body and just get a little bit energized and jump around, especially in the morning. So it's just kind of a fun thing that you can do as well. I also wanted to just say that feeling happy, feeling good, and feeling calm are really important things for us to feel and project out to the world. I know it may be a bit weird to feel happy when so many terrible things are going on in the world, but if we can project some of that happiness and love into the world, I do believe that the positive energy will send a ripple out. So don't feel guilty or weird about being happy. Be grateful and use that good energy to lift others up around you who may be struggling. Use this good energy to help where you can. Donate, volunteer, send an email to someone you haven't heard from in a while. All these positive vibes is what the world needs right now. So use that energy when you feel it to send it out into the world. Now, here's a huge one. Declutter your digital world. There's just so much noise coming at us in the digital space, and we just spend so much time there. So I really, really encourage you to declutter your digital space and curate the content you surround yourself with. So this can look like unfollowing people or posts that you don't resonate with or that make you feel negative in any way, and really being intentional about who you follow. There are many people posting content that is helpful, positive, and uplifting. There are many podcasts, newsletters, and online groups that inspire, give hope, provide good advice, and make you feel better. Surround yourself with this good content. And please, please, please reduce the amount of time you spend mindlessly scrolling. This is just not beneficial at all. And please reduce the amount of time you spend watching the news. I don't watch the news at all. And trust me, I'm not missing anything that's going on. You understand what's going on at all. I really feel we need to buffer ourselves and our minds from this constant fear mongering, this negativity, and the distracting and anxiety causing messages that we're hearing on the news all the time. And if you do need to watch the news, just really limit yourself. Like just say, I'm going to watch 10 minutes and then turn it off. And I'm not saying this from a place of burying our heads in the sand and ignoring the world. I'm saying this from a place of protecting our energy, and protecting our energy from too much negative noise. Because, we need to protect our subconscious and our conscious minds from the constant, bad news and that constant fear mongering and the constant negative messaging. Because that's feeding our minds. Like I said, we need to feed our minds with kind, loving, and inspiring things. So again, I'm not saying ignore the world and bury your head in the sand. I'm just saying protect your energy. So be really mindful about how much you let it in, because it does sit inside and it does just cause really, again, that anxiety and just that overwhelm just to sit there. And so, I think we just need to really be mindful about that. I was reminded yesterday about another awesome way to reduce overwhelm and help us overcome really big feelings, and that's hugging. Go hug someone, connect with someone, connect with a friend or a family member and share how you're feeling. Ask for a hug, ask for support, receive it. Give a hug. Again, if you're feeling really good and strong today, or, at one point in time, give that hug to someone else. Together, we can help each other feel better. Speaking of which, doing something to help others is a huge way to take our thoughts off ourselves. Being of service to someone else is probably one of the best things we can do. It puts us into the energy of love and giving. It allows for compassion and empathy, and it puts us into action rather than just sitting around ruminating or feeling helpless. And helping others can be as simple as calling a friend. So just reach out to someone, just say hi, say, I don't know what to say, but I'm just reaching out. Make a donation. There's lots of great charities out there right now that maybe you resonate with. There's lots of humanitarian organizations that are asking for help. Make a donation. Pray. We need to pray. We need to send out really positive energy and love and kindness out to the world. So, sit still, pray, meditate. Just saying hi to people that you pass in the store and having a nice conversation with the teller or the barista. Like just that extra little touch of kindness will go such a long way. I really believe that connection and helping others will help you feel better. And it will, again, like I said, bring more kindness and love into the world. And I think we can all agree that we really need that right now. So I hope this has helped. I know it's been a bit of a lengthy discussion, but I hope this has helped you just take some steps to reduce some of that overwhelm. And like I said, I'm sending you love and energy and kindness today so that you can, hopefully feel some of that love and energy and be able to share that with someone else in your life. And I just want to say as well, like if you are feeling in any way motivated to, reach out to me because you've been thinking about working with a coach, you've been thinking about making a change in your life and your career and your job, or you need some help with, figuring out what's really important to you, please reach out for a discovery call. I'd love to chat with you. I'd love to, see how I can help. And, something you may not know is that I work with my clients for a whole entire year. So it's just really great to have someone that walks alongside you for a whole year and really transforming and changing your life. So please reach out. There's links in the post. And I look really forward to hearing from you. So again, sending out lots of love and light and kindness. I'm wishing you a really great day. Remember what you're grateful for. Remember to be kind to yourself as well. And we'll see you next time. Thank you, friends.